In modern American society, a country that is considered a symbol of freedom, opportunity, and the dream of success, the gap between the rich and the poor, it's becoming increasingly obvious. The difference is not only reflected in income or the assets they hold, but deeper than that. It reflects the way each person perceives things. Use and manage your own money. Money is inherently just a neutral tool. But the way people treat it, creating two worlds again, completely different. On one side are those who make money multiply. People on the other side are those who let money slip away. That's why the comparison. The way rich and poor people manage their money. In the US, it's not just an economic issue, but it's also a story about mindset, lifestyle habits, and philosophy. A rich person in America, there is usually one thing in common, in the way they perceive money. They see money as a tool to make more money. But for them, money is not just for spending, but it's a seed for investment, to generate profits and expand opportunities. They clearly understand that if they know how to manage and invest properly, money will work for me. But in the meantime, the poor tend to have a tendency, view money as a reward for your hard work. They work to earn money, and then use that money to satisfy our immediate needs. If a rich person asks how to make money profitable, then poor people often think how to have money to spend. It's the difference in mindset, have shaped two financial paths, completely opposite to each other. One side is accumulating investments and generating long-term cash flow. The other side has to keep working to make up for it, for those expenses, increasingly. The spending habits of these two groups of people. It also clearly shows the contrast in financial mindset. A rich person in America spend in a planned and purposeful way. They usually make a clear budget, rationally allocate between essential needs, invest and save. Every penny they spend has a specific meaning, or help increase your self-worth, or create an opportunity to make a profit. They are ready. Spend money on things that can bring long-term benefits, like health, education, technology, serving work. Have an experience that broadens your perspective. They understand that smart spending is a form of investment. On the contrary, many people are poor. In the US, there is a trend of emotional spending, easily influenced by advertisements, the trend of social or comparative psychology. They are willing to take out a loan to buy a new smartphone, luxurious cars, or designer clothes. Things that bring a sense of instant success, but it doesn't increase the real value of oneself. According to statistics from the Federal Reserve of the United States, Federal Reserve, more than 45% of Americans have credit card debt, more than an average of $6,000, and the majority of them are from the low-income group. Many poor people spend without a plan, but it's based on emotions, and then having to live under the constant pressure of repaying debts. The difference in income management. It's also an important factor, making the financial gap increasingly wider. Wealthy people in the US rarely rely on just one source of income only. They build up various income streams. From the main job, investing in real estate securities and renting out properties, dividends, even owning shares in a business. A family that generates passive income. That is, having money even when not directly working. On the contrary, the poor person depends almost entirely on income from work. When I lost my job, the cessation of income also leads to financial instability. They often think that investing is too risky, or only for people who have money, while the rich understand that investing, it's the only way to break free from the income limit of labor. Moreover, the rich also have a deep understanding of taxes and know how to leverage policies to maximize profits, like investing in a $401,000 retirement fund. Open your own company to deduct legal expenses. Use assets as a financial leverage. Meanwhile, most poor people don't fully understand the tax system, even have to pay more. Lack of financial knowledge. 4 is not only different in the way of generating income. The rich and the poor, there is a clear difference in the way they defend and develop assets. Wealthy people always have long-term financial plans, including the emergency reserve fund, health insurance, life insurance, retirement plan, and diversified investment strategy. They understand that life always carries risks, and the best way to face it is to prepare in advance. They spend at least 6 to 12 months of living expenses for the emergency fund, in case of losing a job or encountering an unexpected event. On the contrary, the majority of poor people in America live from month to month. There is no reserve fund, little insurance, and no specific retirement plan. Once you encounter a crisis such as illness, losing a job, or having a family emergency, they had to borrow money or use a credit card, making the financial situation even more dire. It's that lack of preparation, making them the most vulnerable in the economy. The market is full of volatility. Another important factor that makes a difference. In financial management, it's about financial education. Wealthy people are often exposed to the concept of money, invest, and manage assets from an early age. Their children are taught about how to save money and manage expenses. And more importantly, how to make money work for me. They have an environment that encourages the mindset of financial independence. From family to friends, from teachers to advisors. Meanwhile, the poor people, growing up in an environment, but money is often associated with anxiety, lack, and fear. They were taught that they have to work hard to make a living, rather than working smart to create value. It's precisely because of the lack of a financial education foundation, many poor people make mistakes in important decisions, like borrowing too much money for school, use of credit card without control, or invest based on intuition. According to statistics, 10 million Americans are struggling with long-term student loan debt. Item 15, a proof. Due to a lack of understanding about financial management, individual, mental attitude towards risk, also contributing to shaping the way rich and poor people think, handle money. A rich person is not afraid of taking risks, they're just afraid of not understanding the risks. They invest based on analytical knowledge and have a clear risk management plan. They diversify their investment portfolio to minimize losses and be ready to accept losing a small part to learn for next time. On the contrary, poor people often avoid risks. They are afraid of losing money because they don't have the ability to bear losses. Fear makes them overlook profitable opportunities. And then their money, just lying idle in the bank account, a place where the interest rate is lower than the inflation rate. The paradox lies in the main point, that fear of risk actually makes them face the risk bigger, the risk of falling behind in the financial race. Besides the financial goals of the two groups of people, it's also completely different. A rich person strives for financial freedom, a state in which they can live comfortably through passive income, but it doesn't depend on the job. They don't work for money, but working out of passion or to create value. And the poor people, we usually only set the goal of getting by or avoiding debt. They're working hard to pay their bills and debts, but we rarely have long-term plans for the future. The difference in goals, leading to differences in action. Wealthy people spend time learning about finance, explore investment opportunities. The poor person is spending time again, looking for a new job, or work overtime to earn extra temporary income. In the long run, one side is building a stable financial system. The other side is just trying to maintain their existence. Of course, we cannot deny that the social environment, policy, and opportunity, it also greatly affects the ability to manage finances of each person. However, in the same context of America, a place where everyone has a chance, access to information and financial services, the biggest difference still lies in the mindset. The rich consider money as a tool. The poor consider money as their goal. The rich person asks a question, how can money work for me? The poor person is wondering how to get enough money. The same $1 but with two different mindsets. The result after 15 will be completely opposite. As billionaire Warren Buffett once said, if you can't find a way to make money while you're sleeping, you'll have to work until you die. That saying is not just for the rich, but it's a lesson for everyone. In the US, AI also has the opportunity to rise. What matters is not the amount of money you have, but it's about how you think about money. The rich and the poor differ in their mindset, the habit and discipline in using money. One side understands that money is just a means to achieve freedom. Let the other side control your life financially. One last thing. We can say that the difference in money management between the rich and the poor in America, it's not just the difference in actions, but it's about the philosophy of life. Wealthy people believe that money should serve them, and the poor people live to serve for money. And that very mindset, not luck or starting point, it's the decisive factor that AI will get closer to freedom, financial and true happiness.